too many times, honestly. Like, he's on the roof and Lakshman taking the samadhi in the Saryu. What do these lyrics mean? Yeah, so I want to talk about this song, Achilles Come Down by Gangs of Youth. I've heard that song too many times, honestly, like much more than what is probably healthy. But I really want to talk about it because it's basically about two voices inside a person's own head, which basically one of the voices is saying that you're not worthless, you're not broken, you're here, stay. So basically Achilles is on the roof and he's about to sort of jump, and there are two voices inside his head. One of the voices say, Achilles, come down, won't you get up off the roof, right? And the other voice is basically asking him to jump, saying that your life is worthless, you're not worth anything, and all of that. Now the song in itself is very, very, very heavy and very strong, but and I've heard it too many times, and honestly that makes me question why I didn't question this before. But there are some French lyrics in the song itself. Those are so beautiful. Like, I just translated them, and they're basically like, I'm not gonna read out the French because I left French in 8th grade. So yeah, you will see that. So basically what the singer through the French lines is saying, I see that many people die because they believe life is not worth living. I see others, paradoxically, who allow themselves to be killed for ideas, for illusions which give them a reason to live. So that is so interesting. Like, there are two types of people who die, right? There is one type of a person who believes that life is not worth living. I am not worth living life. My life is worthless. It has no meaning. Then there are other people who believe that if I die for a cause, my life has meaning. Like, and for illusions which give them a reason to live. People die for the illusion that give them a reason to live. And now this can be a nation, this can be an ideology, this can be religion, this can be some sense of honor, right? And as someone who's watching the Ramayana, like, I see it. The Vanar Sena fought for Ram because they thought that their life would have meaning because of it, right? And so many of them died believing in Ram's cause. Similarly, on the other side, on Ravan's side, Meghnad, be it Kumbhkaran, be it any one of them, these guys died because they had this sense of honor, this sense of duty towards Ravan, which made their life meaningful to them. And they died for that meaning. So the same meaning that probably keeps you in the world can also become the reason that you leave the world. And the lyrics then go on to talk about exactly that. What we call a reason to live is at the same time an excellent reason to die. And then it goes, so basically it's clear by now that the song is about suicide, right? And it's a very, very delicate topic to talk about. So, a lot of responsibility goes in there. Then what triggers the crisis is almost always uncontrollable. Newspapers often speak of intimate grief or incurable illness, right? So whenever a person dies and whenever a suicidal death is reported in a newspaper, there are always reasons, explanations given ki acha, this is why it happened, and those explanations are valid, right? Those reasons are valid ki okay, probably the person was going through something and that is why they took that decision. Lyrics go, but one should ask whether that very day a friend spoke to the desperate person in an indifferent tone, right? So we need to ask ourselves that when people need our help, when people need us, are we actually there for them or are we not there for them? Because that can be a very important distinction in sort of, understanding the reasons, or what essentially is the final trigger for a person to take that decision. This divorce within the person himself, the one who says yes and the one who says no, right? So in every person there are two parts, right? There is one part of a person that continuously wants to live, wants to experience life, wants to learn, wants to exist. Then there is another part of the same person that basically, is tired, is just, can't see any way out of the situation that they're in. And a person takes the decision to sort of leave the world when that part of them, maybe momentarily or maybe for a very long time, takes over, right? So that is what this guy is saying. That, and then it goes on to say, I also see that those who answer no behave as if they think yes, right? So there are people who say life isn't worth it, but those people still continue to live, still continue to be there, to continue to exist, right? I mean, these lyrics are extremely beautiful in the sense that, first of all, for me, because I have heard this song so many times, and this is philosophical. And I remember my sociology lectures from the second semester of college. We talked about the theory of suicide by Immanuel Durkheim. Yes, right. So he says that suicide is a social phenomena, and he gives a typology of suicides, right? He says that there's egoistic suicide and there is altruistic suicide. There are the two suicides that lyrics also talk about, right? The first few lyrics, where I see that many people die because they believe life is not worth living. This is egoistic suicide. Egoistic suicide is when there is too little of social integration, individuals feel detached from society and lack a sense of belonging. Then there is altruistic suicide, where I see others who paradoxically allow themselves to be killed for ideas, for illusions which give them a reason to live. This is altruistic suicide that occurs through excessive social integration. Individual is so deeply integrated into the group that the group's needs and beliefs outweigh the individual's own, and they may sacrifice their life for the perceived collective good or strong sense of duty. I mean, yeah, like, that was something that was very interesting to me. I mean, for me, because I've heard this song so many times and I never sort of bothered to look at the meaning of the French lyrics. And then today I was watching this scene basically where Lakshman is disowned by Ram, right? And this is in the Uttarakhand basically. So before Ram's death, Lakshman dies, right? And how does Lakshman die? Lakshman dies because Ram disowns him. And Ram disowns him, and that sort of leads to the whole thing, right? Lakshman taking the samadhi in the Saryu. So I was watching that scene and I was like listening to this song, Achilles Come Down, while watching the scene, and I was like, what do these lyrics mean? And then I found out, and that just makes the song even more meaningful for me. Like, these lyrics understand it. So yeah, that's very sort of personally important for me in that sense. So yeah, like, Gangs of Youth did an amazing job with this. So yeah.